Hi, so my life is a mess, so I need some help. So let's do some self-help video reactions today. Woo 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 woo
This
woo.
is AG1,
This is AG1,
foundational nutrition to
so
support
it's a
your body,
foundational
brain, and
nutrition.
gut health.
Something
Alright,
I've always hated is how simple the answers are to life's most difficult problems. You're depressed about your current condition? Just express gratitude and be present. You're struggling
that's right.
financially? Just keep applying to jobs, save more
Just
money,
keep
or solve a
on.
problem and be an entrepreneur. You can't find love? You just gotta love yourself first, bro. Well, gee, thanks. That certainly sounds good in theory, but actually figuring out how to execute on these answers is the reason that my mind tortures itself. And especially in our modern era, where mental illness is this generation's bubonic plague, feeling like it's worth it to exert the energy to pursue a better life can only be experienced once in a blue moon. Unless you start to adopt what I've been doing for the past couple years now. When I first started making these YouTube videos, I didn't have much of a way to stretch my creativity. A lot of you still don't know this, but I was actually a fitness channel for a long time up until the midway point of 2020. And there's a lot of different things you can do in fitness, such as meal ideas, workout routines, and exploring the science behind exercise. But to me, it felt like there was an aspect of making videos that was missing. I knew I wanted an excuse to get out in the world, to film more than just the plates in my kitchen and in the gym, and to capture the beauty of all aspects of life. And when I finally had my breakout, which was that 90-day no-fap plus journaling plus cold showers video, I had the ability to do just that. Shooting B-roll for these videos has shown me parts of the cities I've lived in that I'd never think of going to, and plenty of unknown coves and crevices in nature, all of which have undeniably improved my skills as a filmmaker. But something that you don't see in my videos is the time spent in between my B-roll shots. When I'm setting up the camera, thinking of which path I should go down next, and just basking in the sun that makes me perspire until my shirt is damp. In that silent time alone during the shoot, all my problems, like where my missing SD card is, or that comment about my half-ass beard that really got to me, or that text that I sent to my girlfriend that I think might have came off as strange, suddenly cease to matter. I'm telling this story because being in those situations where I've had to record B-roll induced two of the most purposeful states one can be in to make their lives more enjoyable. And the two ways I've done that, without consciously realizing it until I had thought about it while chilling in nature, are the state of flow and the state of depth. When I'm in the thick of a recording session, there is nothing that is separating my camera and I. It's as if the chasm between mechanical and biological breaks, and my concept of self dissipates into the activity. You might have felt a similar way before when doing a challenging activity as well. Like when you're playing a sport and each minute feels more like a couple seconds, or when you're writing some code and you're so immersed into the project that when you finally lift your head, it's 5 p.m. and you haven't eaten yet. If you've ever been or felt this state of condition before, you know it can be one of the most blissful experiences that you can produce in the human condition. And that experience is what we call flow state. Flow state is that in-the-zone feeling where the purpose of life is positively reverberating through the task you are trying to accomplish. As Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi put it in his book, Flow, the best moments in our lives are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times. The best moments usually occur if a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult.
I hope he pronounced that name correctly. I don't know. No, you really expect me to pronounce that? Jesus. I'm sorry. That just made me laugh. Let's see if I can do it. Csikszentmihalyi. No, I'm sorry. I can't do it.
So there are a lot of factors that go into what triggers flow state, but it can generally be boiled down into 5 steps. Reduce internal distractions, eliminate external distractions, use conditioning triggers, have a clearly defined task, and make sure the task is in the discomfort sweet spot. Before we start to approach the task that we're going to define, we must make sure that the chances of something coming up that take us out of flow state are minimized. So what I like to do before a session of flow is this visualization meditation practice. I will picture myself being in flow state and what I will be doing during it. I'll visualize in my mind exactly what it would look like to be effortlessly focusing on my arduous activity and how it would feel to be within that state. And then for 5 minutes, I will do nothing but solely focus on the inward and outward of my breath. After that, having my mind get to the state where it's silent enough to focus and to get into flow is way easier. The next step is to eliminate all external distractions as well. A requirement for you to even reach the flow state is for you to be doing that task for at least 10 to 20 minutes, and only then can you actually reach that state. There's this buffering period that you're gonna face where you feel some slight agitation and resistance to the task you're trying to do right before you get into the middle of it. And if you have loads of distractions on hand that make it easy for you to give up on that resistance, then flow will be impossible to achieve. Luckily, when I'm out in the world shooting B-roll, there's really no distractions for me to escape to, except for when someone comes up to me or if I pull out my phone. But if your activity requires you to be at, say, your computer or other desk setup, there's going to be endless ways to get distracted from your work. I'm not going to go into this part in detail since I've talked about it in a lot of previous videos, but what I do when I'm writing or editing, just sitting at my desk, I will lock myself out of my phone completely, as well as all websites that aren't related to my work using a Chrome extension. And the app I use to lock myself out of everything is called Forest, and the Chrome extension that I use is called Stay Free. Now for this next step, which is using conditioning triggers, I want to tell you a story which is one of the first things that you learn in a psychology class in college. There was a Russian neurologist named Ivan Pavlov who was experimenting with dogs to understand behaviors in mammals. He noticed that every time they were given their food, they would start salivating. This piqued his interest, so he wanted to see if he could get the dogs to salivate on command using other things. He decided to ring a bell every time he presented the dogs with food so that they would start associating the bell with getting food. And eventually, the dogs would start to salivate every time he rang the bell, even if they weren't presented with food at all. This is what is known as classical conditioning, and it's something that we can use with the right triggers to help us more easily fall into flow state. If we condition ourselves with the right things outside of the actual activity that we want to do with flow state, then every time we use one of these triggers, our brains will say to us, okay, it's time to get into flow state now. There are some really common useful triggers such as working at the same time in the day every day, and listening to the right music can be helpful.
I feel like I don't have time for self-help. I feel like I need to be moving, I need to be doing something, I have this very big need to be productive and make some kind of money, so I need money. I need it. I need to pay my bills. Bills are coming up, my baby's first birthday's coming up, and I need money. I need to have money. I don't know how to make money on my own. I don't even know what to do. I have no clue what to do. And it really bothers me, and I need to figure out a way to make some kind of money. God damn. Fuck. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I never planned on losing my job. And I know I keep dwelling on it, and I keep dwelling on it, and I keep dwelling on it, and I don't know how to stop. I don't know. There's so much information online, and it's just, look at this. There's so much. There's so much going on. There's so much going on. There's so much going on. We paid for a free children's hospital. Cool. That does sound really cool. Wish we could do that. I need to figure out how to do stuff like he does. I don't have that kind of money, and I don't have that kind of influence to change the world. We all got tricked into content addiction. Yeah, I believe that. I don't know. There's a lot going on. There's a whole lot going on. And my hands, I don't know if you can see that. I don't know what you can see. This camera's not literally not the best, but my hands are in pain, dude. Alright. So I just need to put on a happy face and act like this is completely normal. This is normal. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what we're doing today. So I feel like I would like to become more involved. I don't know. I need to go back to congress.gov and continue reading. Oh man. This whole biological gender is fucked up, man. There's biology and then there's gender expression. It's not that hard. I mean, like, literally, there is nothing about having a dick that says that you have to wear a button-up shirt and trousers. There's nothing about a dick. Honestly, it makes more sense to have a fucking skirt on or a dress or something with a penis, but who am I to say? You know, who am I to say? And there's nothing about a vagina that says you need to wear dresses, bows, and makeup and all of that shit. None of that has anything to do with your biological sex. The only thing that has to do with your biological sex is what your body is capable of. And we can actually put some physical descriptions and, like, limitations on what your body is capable of. Like, someone who is biologically male cannot carry a baby yet, unless we figure out a way to make that happen. But naturally, they're not going to be able to, like, carry and deliver a baby. And that's biology. That's just what it is. But gender is not biology. I don't understand, man. I don't understand where people get these ideas that say that one thing is for a man and one thing is for a woman. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. The only thing that I can even begin to believe that, like, gender roles wise makes sense biologically is child rearing. Women are more naturally better at child rearing because why? Because they have, like, mammary glands in their breasts that are meant to fucking breastfeed, and that's it. A man can change a diaper, a man can play and bathe and do everything else. They can even make a bottle and feed if you're willing to do that. Depending on if you want to do strictly breast milk, the wife can pump, and the man can feed it with a bottle. It doesn't matter. We're born naked, everything else is drag. We're born naked, everything else is drag. You know, that's a great RuPaul quote. It's good stuff. But who am I to fucking talk about that? I need to write more about it and talk more about it and figure out more about it. But let's see. Let me open up my book that I'm writing and see if I can do better. Oh, me, oh my. It's been a while since I've been on this book. Been a long while since I've been on this book. Let me open it up in Chrome because I do know that I have a better version here. I say as I get lost immediately. Alright. Boom. Ah, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Is that harder to read on the actual screen? Both of these are hard to read on the actual screen. So honestly, bump them up, make them beefier. You able to read all that? Is that too big? Is 13 good enough? No, it's really not. Interesting. Wow. I got lots to do here. Just to make this like reasonable to have on screen. We're gonna figure this out. We'll get this together. Let's have a tiny little word at the end. I need to go back and reorder everything here. Why does it put this empty page? I don't understand. Dotted looks nicer in my opinion. want this to be legible for anybody. So I reckon this is best to do this now and then continue to write in this font, not font, yeah, font. Font is the size, typeface is the different fonts. Every time I have light on my face from the computer, it makes me glow like a weird shade of red. This makes this possible. Alright,